Welcome to the Positive Pants Podcast. Mindset, motivation, and inspiration to help you find your positive pants. Let go of negative thinking and stop living for the weekend. With your host, Fran Excel.
So welcome to the show. As always, it's Fran Excel Mindset Coach, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you love. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm very grateful you've chosen to put me in your earbuds today. Please do hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything, and do leave me a review. I love reading them, and it really helps me get found by other people who need to hear what I share. I'd also love you to email me your mindset and productivity questions or topics you'd love me to cover to hello@franexcel.com, because I know a lot of you think I'm inside your heads because you tell me all the time. But if I don't know what you need, I can't give it to you. So let me know. The C word is taking over every feed imaginable still, for obvious reasons. It's bringing out the best in some people and the worst in others. There have definitely been a few other side effects, should we say, in society for the positive and the negative, and in the business world for sure. I very much don't want to contribute to a problem, so I will talk to you about how I'm handling it and my take on it. And from next week, I will be re-releasing some key episodes that I know are going to help you and remind you of all the tools that you already have at your disposal, without turning everything into a C-word frenzy that I believe is kind of perpetuating the problem. Now is the time to apply and use what you already know, especially when trying to juggle with partners and kids around too, with all the uncertainty. You know, things are being released every single day, mostly for the positive. The government are really stepping up, and all we can do is listen to that and hang in there. But what I'm saying is people are looking for new solutions everywhere and are forgetting all the tools and resources that they already have. This is certainly not about denying what's going on in any way, because it's very real and very devastating for a lot of people. Now, I choose to look at things a certain way, and you may look at them another, but I wanted to offer up potentially different perspective. So I was talking to my husband about why I feel so strongly about what I'm going to talk to you through, and have been racking my brain thinking, like, am I completely in the wrong here? Am I missing something? Am I wrong in what I believe right now? And I came to the conclusion that a huge amount of how I feel is because I've been there, done it, and got the t-shirt on losing everything before. 6 years ago, when we lost our business, our home, our relationship was tested to the limit. We had to move in with my mother-in-law and had absolutely no money. So we did nothing but stay indoors in our pajamas and worry and panic and get a bit depressed. Sound familiar? But it's what sent me on the path to here, with the dream house, the dream dog, the businesses and qualifications that I have, where I get to help people think differently now, overcome their unconscious programming and not be ruled by their emotions. You know, thankfully we had our health, and thankfully everyone that we love still has their health. But in essence, everything now after that is so much better than it ever would have been had it not happened. And I trust that that will happen again. I know what mistakes I made last time, what helped and what didn't. I lived it, and it was very, very, very painful, and I'm very, very grateful for it. I'm wired for resilience. I'm wired to accept the bad and look for the good in it. So as much as there has been a big financial loss to us so far, and we have no idea how all this is going to go, I'm actually kind of totally okay with it at the moment. Not saying that won't change, but for now, I'm totally okay with it. The more kind of special content that gets created specifically around the worry or anxiety element of what's going on, the more I believe that people will worry and feel anxious, because it's repeating the message that the majority are worrying and anxious. And the more that people see these messages, the more the underlying tone is that they kind of should feel that way. You know, as humans, we have a need to fit in. Our basic needs are being challenged right now to the maximum. Our need for safety is being hugely challenged. But one up from that is the need for belonging. We're looking to be the same as others, to feel a part of a community right now. And when you actually look at everything in the grand scheme of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you can see why this is having such a profound effect on everyone. So first, it's our basic needs, such as food, water, shelter. Toilet roll has very obviously become one of our core basic needs, but you can see where the selfish stockpiling is coming from. It's our number one basic need that's being threatened. Next on the hierarchy is safety, personal safety, employment, health, massively challenged right now in every way. Then we have love and belonging, friends, family, and a sense of connection. So when we're self-isolating, it's no wonder people are seeking this online. And then you have esteem. So feeling respected, your status in the world, and a sense of accomplishment. You can see this in a lot of business owners right now coming to the forefront. They're worrying about their businesses failing during this, or going way above and beyond to do extra for their audiences. And at the top of the pyramid, you have self-actualization and the desire to essentially be the best person that you can be. Morality is a big piece of this. So it's no wonder that people are getting so judgy and opinionated, and those trolls are just having a lovely time. On all levels, our core basic needs are being threatened and tested. We're all being ruled by our egos right now, big time. And in these crazy times, a little more compassion and a little less judgment will go a long way. In this episode, I don't want to make anyone wrong, in inverted commas. That's not my intention at all. I appreciate we all have different takes and opinions and beliefs around this. This is just my take on things, and you will have your own. Online, the hysteria is being added to on a continual basis. There's added pressure on business owners in so many ways. There's the revenue for starters. There's potential relationship strains and kids running around under our feet. There's the very loud opinions, judgments, and shoulds all over the show. There's the feeling that you need to follow suit, and if they're doing X, Y, and Z, then you should be too. There's a lot of very well-meaning business owners showing up for their audiences for free in a very, very, very big way, which is lovely and comes from a really good place. And some of it is genuinely helpful and absolutely spot on for what people genuinely need right now. And it helps keep them focused and keep their eyes on their goals for once we're out the other side of this, because we will get to the other side of this. But the rest is just extra noise and potentially causing a bit of a problem. So what do I mean by that? It's essentially perpetuating the anxiety in many cases, creating it where it may not have been there before. It's creating lots of extra things to do in a time where there could be some real focus and opportunity if you choose to look at it that way. It's causing people to, keep looking for the next free thing that they don't want to miss because they need it right now. It's like freebie shiny object syndrome on steroids. So for me, there really is a fine line on everything that's out there at the moment. And for me, some of it is really adding to the problem in many ways. I absolutely see the merit in it. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, it's coming from a good place, mostly. But when everyone else is following suit, it's becoming overwhelming for people to consume and also feel like they need to create to keep up. And a lot of people just need to take a minute to work out what they feel, what's going on for them, catch their breath, and decide what they want to do. It's also keeping the focus on what's going on and the negatives around what's going on, rather than just carrying on the best that we can, focusing on what we can do rather than what we can't, and taking advantage of the time to do all the things we convince ourselves we don't have time for. So what I'm really saying is just take a step back and consider what you really need right now versus feeling like you need everything on offer purely because it's been linked in the messaging to coronavirus somehow. And stay off the endless scroll of looking for it. Yeah. I bet if you have a look back, you already have a ton of things that you've already bought and paid for that you can finally actually use that perhaps wasn't a priority before but could be now. Even if it's just a case of asking someone else to brainstorm with you and using the communities that you're in, like I said in the previous episode, the answers are already out there for you. You don't need to go seeking more. And the biggest thing that I see as a problem, and it's a biggie, is all the shaming that is going on. People are shaming people for everything. They're shaming people for continuing to sell and continuing to run their business, which is bonkers. They're shaming people for not selling, which is bonkers. They're shaming people for being negative and now for being positive. The trolls are out in force and they are angry. You know, this last week I've been like, just stop the internet. I want to get off. Yeah. What is with all the judgment? I get that people are angry and scared, and there's some very real stuff going on right now, but we have not lost all our faculties and ability to be good humans. You know, the phrase toxic positivity is being bandied around a fair amount that I've seen, and I've been massively limiting my social media intake for some time, you know, big time, because that's what I'm choosing to do at this time. I'm loving Instagram, so head over there and make sure you're following me at I'm Fran Excel and come play. Facey B, I'm taking a bit more time off from, because it's not a place that is happy for me right now. You know, I know it helps me keep a level head to only read reputable sources for my news, to make sure I'm informed, and I choose to stay out of the madness, the hysteria, and away from people jumping on various bandwagons. People are addicted to it. I wholeheartedly understand that, but it's also a choice. You know, when it comes to the posts I'm seeing, it's now veering towards it's okay however you're feeling. You don't have to be positive if you don't feel it. It's okay to feel stressed and anxious and down if that's what you feel. Feel all of it for as long as you need. And while I do completely understand the sentiment, I don't completely agree, for good reason. Physiologically, it is not good to stay in fear, in fight or flight mode, with cortisol and adrenaline running through your system, lowering your immune system and impeding your ability to think clearly. I talk about this in the previous podcast episode. You know, I feel really strongly about this. Of course, you're going to be feeling negative emotions at times right now. We all are, and that is okay. Just please don't dwell there for longer than you need to. You know, moments of stress, tears and wobbles are one thing. Having it validated to you by people that you trust that it's okay to live there, and essentially unconsciously being given permission to live there right now, is not going to help. On top of the physiological effects, it's also going to allow you to make excuses to yourself to stay there. It's not going to help. And while you are there, you're also creating new neural pathways in your brain for anxiety and fear to become your path of least resistance. You're creating new habitual ways of thinking. If we're doing this for 3 months, what is that going to do to your brain, to your neural networks? You are essentially training your brain to show you more of the negative, more things that are going to cause you to feel fear and anxiety. And I've talked to you many times about the reticular activating system before. It's your brain's spam filter. And when you stay in fear, anxiety, and worry, you are essentially training it to show you and filter out all the evidence that that's right. So when you see more and more of it, and you unconsciously ignore any positives, because that's essentially what you've told your brain to do, that fear and anxiety is inevitably going to grow and get worse. We're all looking to validate our own stories and opinions all the time. It's how we tick. It's totally normal. We want people to tell us it's okay to be however we are and feel whatever we feel. You know, while that's true, everyone is perfect as they are. What's not true is that it's healthy to stay in fear and anxiety. What's not true is it's okay for people to be in a state that they don't actually want to be in. I've talked before about how negative emotions can be really helpful. You know, there are guides in life and are not to be ignored, especially not suppressed or paid attention to. They are incredibly helpful and a big part, sounds weird, but your negative emotions are a big part in being positive. It's not about victim shaming, but there is something to be said for making sure you're not encouraging people to stay in that place. Yeah, it's a fine line, and we can have so many secondary gains from being in a negative headspace. Trust me, I know from experience. You're on a bad day, loved being in a negative Nelly space. Yeah, so we don't need to make it even easier for us to stay there. For me, it's just about having really good, solid self-awareness and curiosity. Misery also loves company. So if you're too far the other way, then it's almost as if the negativity starts to be encouraged, right? People start shaming people for being positive, then those people stop being positive, then the negativity takes over again. It's just crazy. Just stop the shaming. Read what you want to read. Don't read what you don't want to read. It's really that simple. This is why I'm loving Instagram. It's so easy to curate your own feed over there and not see what you don't want to see, not see what's triggering you. Yeah. Positivity isn't about false positivity. It's not about faking it. It's about increasing your resilience. It's about faith that even if it's a bit rubbish right now, that it will be okay. It's being able to bounce back quickly and think on your feet. It's behavioral flexibility, without freaking out. It's emotional intelligence and being able to regulate your emotions and not be consumed by them. It's not about not having them. It's about asking for help when you feel like you can't do it alone. It's not about pretending things aren't happening or faking positivity when you don't feel it. It's about choosing to look for any potential positives and understanding that you do have that choice to do so. It's also about being able to be calm and level-headed in chaos, even if you have plenty to be concerned about. Yeah, it's being able to zoom out from your own emotions and your own thoughts or a situation and look at it rationally with perspective. It's acceptance of and surrender to what you can't control. It's about being able to see the positive in the negative, not denying it. Yeah, denying negative emotions makes them grow. So feel what you need to feel, wobble, rant, cry, but use the tools to change your state when you want to or know that you need to. You will feel the full spectrum of emotions during such uncertainty. Of course you will. Our brains are in overdrive right now. They crave safety and certainty, two of the biggest things that we cannot give them right now. It's not about making you or your emotions wrong or broken or forcing it. We've been catapulted out of our habitual thinking, which I actually think is going to be amazing for us all in the long run, individually and globally. No more doing things just because it's the way they've always been done. We're having to think on our feet right now. So let's not start being negative about positivity, people. Please. People are just going to handle this how they feel they need to. So even if you think something judgmental and mean, just think before you share it. The trolling is insane, and I'm seeing it from a place of limiting my social media. Yeah, you don't have to take my opinion either, but you're listening to my podcast, so I thought I would share it with you. I'm all about trying to help people think differently and get out of their stories, and I'm not going to stop doing that now. I'm not going to be offering special coronavirus contents other than this or offers. I'm not saying there is anything wrong with doing that. It's just not what I'm going to do right now. Yeah. The content and offers that I would put out for or during coronavirus is exactly the same as I would for any other issue around mindset and productivity. But you're all working from home, really figuring out why I do both mindset and productivity together, huh? Inextricably linked. I want you guys to apply this stuff all the time, not just now. It's habitual. This is what I've been talking about. This is the perfect time to put into practice what I've been teaching for years. So I cultivated around 18 previous episodes that can and will help right now. All around boundaries with family at home, how to maintain focus, how to change your state, the power of habits and routine, why managing your energy is important, letting go of shoulds, remembering to do the basics and use the resources that you've already got, listening to your gut, not getting caught in worry loops, how to stop overthinking, self-discipline, how to overcome your stories, secondary gains, taking responsibility, why your thoughts are so important, perspective, the power of language, how to not fear the haters. There is tons. This is stuff that I talk about all the time. This is for you now. Hopefully you can see how it's all relevant right now. It's all already there for you to binge in around 10 to 15 minutes each, while you're probably decluttering your cupboards, cleaning the fridge. You can find them over on my Insta stories highlights, on my Facebook page and my personal Facebook profile. I'll link them up in the notes. Now, over the next few weeks, I'm going to be re-releasing some of them with a little snippet at the beginning for how you can apply it now and try and make it really relevant for whatever's happening that particular week. But it's important to me that you learn these tools for use whenever you need them. There's a reason that I've always said I'm always about the practical and actionable. You can use these now. Coronavirus, no coronavirus. Use them. Genuinely. The fact that I use these all the time is one of the reasons that I feel that I'm so level-headed about all of this. And it'd be very easy for people to sit on the other side and say, yeah, but you do this, and yeah, but you're this person, and yeah. It's easy to do that, but just stop. Make it relevant to you. I've created this for myself. Yeah, and you can do exactly the same. If I can do it, you can do it. Yeah, and I am here to help, and the content is there for you. Hit me up in the DMs if you have any questions about anything, or if you need me to recommend a tool for a particular issue that you're feeling. Please just reach out. I want you to slide into those DMs. Yeah. Now, one of the things that I'm doing right now in my way, obviously, as I've said, is to really limit my social media. So one, so I don't have to see any scaremongering or false facts. And two, to stay clear of any comparison, and also to not get embroiled in the anger and the negativity. Yeah, I'm taking advantage of the gift of this extra time that I've got and being really productive with it. But I'm not putting pressure on myself to be extra productive. I've seen that going around a lot as well. There's no need to put extra pressure on yourself right now. You know, all I'm doing is I'm listening to the government guidelines and I'm staying at home. I'm staying sane and sensible. You know, I'm revisiting courses that I didn't complete. I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands on courses that I've never completed. There's an 11% success rate. So I'm not success rate, 11% completion rate on online courses. So I know you guys have got some courses that you could go through. I'm reading so much on topics where, you know, they're like nice to have topics rather than, no, I need to sit down and learn this. It's amazing. I'm dancing around the kitchen. I've been making things in the kitchen with Tobin. I've been singing Disney and show tunes at the top of my lungs. And if you've followed me for a while, you'll know that some of these are my go-tos. I've been standing outside in the sunshine, and now I'm up and about after my surgery. I will be taking Milo for walks because I am lucky and I live in the countryside and there are no people for miles. We have one lovely neighbour and it's all good. You know, I've bought, here's a good one. I bought a flower press. Do you remember those from when you were a kid? And we're going foraging because Tobin's obviously he's a chef and a forager. We're going foraging for plants and flowers, and we're going to be able to put them up on the wall. I said to him earlier, once we've done this, we're going to be able, one day it's going to be worth thousands of pounds. We can say this was created during the great coronavirus trials of 2020. You know, I'm finding that I'm going back to lots of things that I loved doing as a kid. My creativity is just through the roof. You know, we're going to do all the DIY and clearing that we never have time for. You know, I've been on Zoom calls and FaceTime with clients, friends, loved ones. I've been playing some of my favorite silly games like Dobble. Love Dobble. I would love to know how they made that. And if you don't know Dobble, you need to go get on Amazon now. I have been cuddling Milo. I've been so grateful for our position and that we still have our health, as do my loved ones. I've been angry at people continuing to not take it seriously and putting others in danger. I've been angry at the selfish behavior that's been displayed. I've been joyful at all the good news that I fill my Instagram feed with. I've been using all the tools in my toolkit, the meditation, mindfulness, NLP, anchors, journaling, all of these things that I've talked to you guys about. I've had moments of realization about the amount of money that I've lost. Then I've put things into perspective. There's a lot of people in a lot worse positions, and the government have been incredible. And I'm really hoping that in the next day or so, they're going to come through for the self-employed people too. And so I've taken that perspective and I've got back to gratitude. I have accepted that things I was so excited about are now not happening. I've accepted that what I thought 2020 was going to look like isn't going to turn out that way. And I stayed open to it bringing positive change somehow. I don't need to know what that looks like just yet. I'm just open to it. I have surrendered, essentially. I'm accepting of what I am and I'm not in control of in this situation. And I'm grounded in doing what I need to do for me, regardless of what other people are doing and regardless of what other people think about what I'm doing or not doing. Yeah, I'm still offering all my same services, including my one-on-one, my mastermind, my power hours, and my SOS service. If you want more information on that, just DM me or drop me an email on hello@franexcel.com. they're all still there. Nothing changes. I'm not putting any additional pressure on myself or allowing anyone else to put pressure on me. I'm being there for my clients who will and do feel all the feels, but no, they don't want to stay there and are all using their resources to make sure that they are where they want to be based on this situation right now. I've been helping people pivot completely, think differently, reframe situations, the whole 9 yards. I have let go of expectation and I'm choosing to live for the good. Yes, there are a huge amount of negatives about what's happening for a lot of people, but there is potential for so much good. So much. I'm loving seeing all the gestures of human kindness. It's incredible to see. As I mentioned, we've all been catapulted out of habitual thinking, and I really can only see this as a good thing. Questioning everything for the first time in years. Finding better ways to do things, being innovative. For example, I live in the countryside and the majority of food suppliers are out here. They usually supply to restaurants and all the restaurants are closed. Yet there's nothing in the supermarkets. So what have they done? They've put out that they're offering a delivery service to people. It's genius. Yeah. A week ago, they were probably thinking everything was over. We're all getting to use parts of our brains that have been running on autopilot for however long. We're being forced to slow down, which is a very good thing for me as a perpetual achiever with a superwoman complex. We've been given the gift of time to catch up with ourselves. We've been given an opportunity to reassess everything and really think about what we want from life. It's given us an opportunity to not take things for granted anymore and be grateful for what we have and where we are. There is no denying that this is catastrophic for some people. People are losing loved ones. It's financially devastating to many. People are having to navigate complete schedule upheavals and bored kids. And I have been so impressed with some of the boundary setting I've been seeing from some of my mum friends. It's not about undermining anyone's experience in this. It sucks. It truly sucks. It's not about feeling bad for feeling sad or feeling bad for choosing to look at the positives. It's all judgment in one way or another. But there is a lot of good around if you choose to look for it. We will come out of this stronger. We don't need to know how right now. It's going to require a deep breath and a lot of trust. This is just how I'm choosing to see it. I spoke in the previous episode about resources that even if you don't feel like you have any, find them. Anxiety UK, there's OCDaction.org. I talk about these in the previous episode. For whatever's going on with you, whether you're at home with somebody that you can't stand or abuses you, there's so much going on, but there are always resources. Yeah. This is just my opinion. It doesn't have to be yours. I'm not attached to it being yours. You don't have to agree or judge, but you can respect it's my opinion and respect the choices that I make and I'm making. And I hope you will do the same for each other and yourself. And if things are triggering you, just zoom out for a second and ask yourself why. Where are you sweating the small stuff in the grand scheme of things that are going on right now? Where are you letting silly little things bother you and get out of control and out of context? My Instagram is going to continue to be a force for positivity, the honest, genuine kind, not the toxic kind. I'm not going to be on Facebook too much. I'm definitely going to be in the DMs, so please do message me. I'm continuing to offer my services, so do what you've got to do for yourself in your business. It's totally up to you. You don't have to follow suit just because you think you should. Everyone is going to do what they need to do, and as long as you're taking the government's advice and trying to not be a D-word in the supermarkets, they should not be judged for handling it the way that they feel they need to. No guilt, no shame. You've got a block button, you've got an unfollow button. It's up to you. Take responsibility. Keep your freaking sense of humor. Yo. Look at the NHS frontliners risking their lives and do what you can in terms of staying home. And perhaps when all this is over, another positive is that we'll have more respect for others, complain less, give more. Who knows? We don't know what's going to happen, but we never did. We never did. That's a part of life. We're globally in it together. I mean, it's historic. And the only thing that we ever have control over is ourselves and how we respond to things. And that has always been the case. So stay strong, stay safe, stay sane, use your common sense, and reach out for help when you need it. Lots of love.
So,
If you got value from this and you know in your gut that now is the time to step up and start rewiring your thinking and changing things for yourself, then book in a free discovery call so we can work out what needs to happen to get you from where you're at right now to the action-taking success you know you can be. And if you want my eyes and ears on your problems, I work with people one-on-one and through my Proactive Pants Mastermind. So stop waiting for if and when and decide to change things now, because you can. And as always, I hope that was helpful. So any questions, just let me know. And as always, I will see you next week. Bye.